You're not stuck because life is unfair. You're stuck because you've built a sanctuary around your limitations. Reread that. Let's get real. You're not unlucky. You're unconsciously choosing to stay in your comfort zone. You're not cursed. You're attached to your familiar chaos. And that truth? It's a punch to the gut, isn't it? But until you accept that your reality is a mirror of your choices, nothing will shift. Nothing. You keep whispering, I want to change. But the truth is, you're not truly changing. You're just rearranging your excuses, decorating your prison with motivational quotes, pretending it's progress. Deep down, you know this. You're not healing, you're performing. And that performance? It's the reason you remain stuck. Because misery, as paradoxical as it sounds, provides a narrative, a story that justifies your inaction, a reason to stay small, a shield that keeps the world and yourself at arm's length. And here's the brutal honesty. The pain of staying the same can sometimes feel more familiar than the discomfort of growth. Because growth demands you to confront what you've been avoiding, your fears, your shame, your failures. And facing that, it's terrifying. Let me guess. You're exhausted, overthinking every step, drained from trying to fix yourself. But here's the truth they won't tell you on social media. You're not really doing the work. You're just layering more noise on top of your pain, dressing it up with affirmations that don't reach the core. You're not healing. You're performing a role you think will earn you validation. And that act? It keeps you locked in the cycle. Because misery offers a comfort that nothing else can. A story, your story, that justifies why you stay small, why you stay hurt. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't want to heal. You want to be seen as someone who's hurting. That way, no one asks you to take responsibility. No one challenges your narrative. You've made your pain your identity. You wear it like armor. You've mastered the language of suffering, but you've done little to transform. And I'll say it plainly. Healing isn't a vibe. It's not a mood, a playlist, a meme, or a candlelit bath. It's not about posting, working on myself stories while avoiding the real work. That raw, messy, uncomfortable process of shedding old stories and habits. Healing is a war against the stories you cling to, those stories that keep you small. It's a battle against habits that sedate your potential. And here's what most people miss. Misery, although painful, feels safer than the unknown. Because change requires you to let go of who you've been, and that's terrifying. So, you cling. You cling to your chaos, your pain, your victimhood, because it's familiar. Now, imagine you have a friend who texts you every day. I'm so exhausted. My job's toxic. Everyone walks all over me. You listen and empathize. You suggest boundaries, therapy, a new career. But she doesn't act. She scrolls through social media, searching for posts that reinforce her victimhood. She sends screenshots of toxicity, follows accounts about breakups, trauma, astrology, all to validate her story. I'm broken, and it's not my fault. What she doesn't realize is this. she's not seeking healing. She's seeking attention. She's learned that misery earns her love, validation, connection. Staying wounded makes her feel seen. And here's the harsh truth no one wants to say out loud: she's not really healing. She's performing. Her pain has become her personality. It's her armor. And here's the brutal reality: you don't want to heal either. You want to cling to your pain because it gives you a reason not to change, to stay the same, to avoid the fear of what's on the other side. You've made suffering your default. It's become your comfort zone, even if it's slowly killing you. Let me say it again. Healing isn't about looking like you're doing the work. It's about doing the work. It's about facing the stories that keep you in the dark. It's about dismantling the habits that keep you in the cage. Because misery, as much as it hurts, is addictive. Not because pain feels good, because it's familiar. It's a part of your identity. It's the story you tell yourself when everything else feels uncertain. And society? Society loves this. It rewards the broken hero. On social media, vulnerability is celebrated, but only if it's curated, if it's filtered through the lens of "I'm so wounded, look at me." We romanticize trauma and ignore accountability. We praise the realness, but only when it's convenient. So many remain stuck, caught in the loop of victimhood, repeating the same stories, seeking sympathy, avoiding the real work of transformation. And here's the kicker. If you truly healed, the applause would fade. The likes would disappear. The sympathy would evaporate. Because healing? It's not about external validation. It's about internal integrity. It's about owning your story and choosing to rewrite it. Most people mistake this for authenticity. But the truth? It's a distraction. It's a mask for avoidance. Because if you truly accepted yourself, fully and honestly, you'd have no excuse to stay in pain, no reason to stay small. You'd have to confront your shadows, your fears, your shortcomings. And that's where most people stop. Because the thought of facing their true self is more terrifying than staying stuck. Here's what no one tells you. Your shadows don't want to destroy you. They want to wake you up. Your fears, your rage, your sadness, these aren't enemies. They're messengers, signals that something needs your attention, but instead of listening, you silence them. You distract yourself. You pretend they're not there. And what happens? They grow louder. They manifest in your relationships. Sabotage, overreaction, withdrawal. They show up in your habits. Overworking, overspending, binge watching. You think you're calm, but you're numb. You believe you've forgiven, but you've repressed. You think you're healed, but you're hiding. Every buried emotion? It's a seed. And what you bury now will eventually grow into a storm. That's the law of the subconscious. What you refuse to face will confront you eventually. Carl Jung warned us, until you bring the unconscious into consciousness, it will control your life and call it fate. You mistake your patterns for destiny, your pain for who you are. But it's not fate. It's fear dressed as logic. It's avoidance disguised as self-protection. And here's the truth. Most people prefer to stay broken rather than risk the chaos of change, because the unknown is terrifying. Facing your truth is uncomfortable. It hurts like hell. There's a reason you avoid the journal, the silence, the mirror. Because your shadow? It's more familiar than the light. But here's what nobody tells you. Your shadow isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to free you. Your anxiety? Not weakness. It's a signal. Your anger? Not toxicity. It's a boundary long ignored. Your sadness? Not a flaw. It's grief for the self you abandoned. If you want peace, face the chaos. If you want strength, sit with your fear. If you want freedom, stop blaming the world for the pain you refuse to feel. Growth demands discomfort. Clarity demands confusion. Breakthrough demands breakdown. So ask yourself, what am I still running from? Which emotion do I fear so much that I'd rather stay in pain than feel it fully? What truth, if I acknowledged it, could set me free or ruin me? Because the cost of avoiding it? It's prison. It's a slow death of your potential. Every day you delay, you're building a life that looks okay on the outside, but feels like hell on the inside. And let me tell you about the future you, a version of yourself decades from now, sitting alone, looking back at the life they never fully lived. Regret in their eyes, unspoken dreams, unfinished stories, the love they never fought for, the risks they never took. That's the real price of avoidance. Waking up one day and realizing you never truly tried. So, I ask you, what's the one thing you've been avoiding that your soul is begging you to face? Because the myth of the right time is just that, a myth. The right time is never coming. The only time is now. If you want to be free, earn it. If you crave peace, fight for it. This moment, right here, right now, is your wake-up call. You can keep pretending, or you can finally wake up. No more excuses. No more hiding. No more waiting for the perfect moment. That moment, it's already here. It's uncomfortable, yes. It's necessary, absolutely. Because healing isn't a mood, a hashtag, or a fleeting feeling. It's a daily commitment to face your shadows, to own your story, and to transform your life from the inside out. Most people won't do it. They'll talk about change, post about growth, buy the books, but they won't actually do the work. Because waking up, it's brutal. It tears apart every illusion, every lie, every safety net you've built around your pain. And that's what makes it so terrifying. Carl Jung said it best. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. That's why you scroll instead of sit with your thoughts. That's why you complain, but keep the habits that keep you stuck. Because your shadow? It's more familiar than the truth. But here's the truth. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your guide. It's calling you to wake up. Your fears, your rage, your sadness, they're not problems to fix, but signals to listen to. When you face them, you reclaim your power. When you run from them, you give away your life. So ask yourself, what am I afraid to face? Which part of my story do I keep hiding? Because until you bring it into the light, it will rule your life in darkness. And here's the final piece. Every day you delay, you're trading your future for a fleeting sense of safety. You're building a future filled with regret, missed opportunities, and hollow victories. Let me paint a picture. Imagine yourself at 80, looking back. Will you see a life of courage or one of avoidance? Will you regret the risks you took or the ones you avoided? The answer lies in what you do today. Because the truth is, the only thing stopping you is your own refusal to face the truth. And the longer you wait, the more you confirm your fears. But here's the good news. You're not condemned to stay in this cycle. You can choose differently. You can choose to stop playing small. You can choose to stop convincing yourself that suffering is enough. You can choose to start living with intention, honesty, and courage. And it starts now. No more procrastinating. No more hiding behind distractions. It's time to finally face what's been haunting you, the stories, the fears, the pain, and step into the version of yourself that's been waiting patiently for your courage. So here's your wake-up call. If you don't change today, your tomorrow will look just like today, stuck, numb, and longing for what could have been. But if you decide to wake up, to own your truth, and to do the work, your life will transform. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Because the next chapter of your life begins with one honest truth and one brave decision. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I truly afraid to admit? Because until you do, you're just living a story you didn't choose, a story of avoidance, pain, and unfulfilled potential. Now, decide. Will you keep running? Or will you finally face yourself? The choice is yours.